Catch my man. You guys have a Murray?
At Bahama Breeze. What? They calling this the One Love. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about. Y'all go ahead and listen to this next one. Read it, enjoy it, while I take a sip of this drink. I don't know what to do or how to begin, she said. Everything happened so fast and spiraled out of control. I don't know where to start or what to say. She kept her eyes closed, as if talking to her internal self. She began to choke up. The words caught in her throat. The story was swirling around in her head like a tornado. But she couldn't yet put it together to have it spill out of her mouth. She thought about some of the things that had happened. Her breath caught in her throat and stayed there for a minute. Is everything okay? He asked her. She turned her head in the direction of the voice, eyes still closed. She studied it. It was soothing and calming and inviting. She thought of her father. She thought of how different things would have turned out if he was still around, how he would guide her and lead her in the right direction. She thought of how he would have helped her make the right decisions and avoid being in situations like the one she was in. She missed her father so much. Everything seemed to have gone wrong ever since he left her. Finally, air escaped. She tried to calm her thoughts. It was still difficult to formulate sentences. The words were there but jumbled. Attempting to put 4 or 5 together that made sense seemed impossible. She steadied her breathing, took in deep breaths. She thought of the things that made her happy: a warm bubble bath, the climax in a romance novel, the taste of her favorite ice cream. She crossed herself, then opened her eyes. The room seemed darker than when she first entered. It took some time for her to readjust to her surroundings. Things seemed a bit eerie. The wooden floor, the velvet covering on the walls and ceilings, the dark tiles on the floors, they all seemed to add to the room's mystery. You know, oftentimes when it comes to a time that we have to make tough decisions, or we have to share information that we want to hold close to our hearts, it's difficult to share. And finding the right person to open up to is very difficult to do, because one, we don't want to be judged, and we want someone who can just listen, for one. Unfortunately, not many of us are good listeners, right? The minute someone starts to talk and we think we understand what they're attempting to say, we dive in with our take on it, even though they haven't finished saying what they're attempting to say. But anyhow, it's very difficult to find someone to whom we can confide in, and whether it be us going to speak to a priest, a pastor, an elder, a friend, a counselor, a teacher, a mentor. Just it's finding the right person that allows you to open up and just be you. In this particular story, by the way, the title of this one is A Conversation with the Messenger. So there's a lot in there. Who is the messenger? You are the person attempting to share your information, yet you're doing so with a messenger. So that's the dilemma in this particular story. You have a young lady who wants to open up and share many of her experiences or the issue that she's currently going through, and it's just looking for someone that she can open up to, share it, and again, perhaps be given some guidance. Unfortunately, the person who was in her past, someone who she would go to, is no longer around. The line says that he left her, her father left her, but we don't really know what that is. Who is the messenger in the story? When we talk about she's opening herself to this messenger, is it, a gateway to a higher force, a higher being, an alternative life? So we really don't know. But as she finds out in either speaking or listening, because although she went to see this person in order to share some of what she's been holding in, the story twists a little bit, and the person who is supposed to be listening to her actually ends up being the person who opens up to her and shares some of what that particular person has been holding on to. And I don't know if it's done in an effort to allow her to open up, or just sometimes you find someone who puts you at ease enough so that you feel free to share and talk and discuss. But I think doing it in itself is freeing, right? Being able to sit and talk and share and say things that, perhaps are just in your head, in your heart, in your soul, and wanting to find that right person to share it with is a freeing act in itself. So I'm hoping that you all can, as this young lady has, and again, we'll have to continue to read just to look and see exactly what took place and the impact that has on her. So something did in fact take place. She went there again to open up to someone and share some of what she's been going through, but it ended up being the other way around, and someone ended up sharing information with her. And then what does that do to her specific dilemma, right? She has an issue. Does the fact that this person opens up to her help her? Does it help to guide her and shape her? And, is what is shared sort of used as an outlet, or, as a stepping stone, or as perhaps some steps or ideas or guidelines? Is it used as a way to help her solve her problems? I don't know. But if you ever get the opportunity to just lend an ear, do just that. Lend an ear, right? You would find that oftentimes people aren't looking for us to give insight or share what we know, but just to listen. So in this story, again, a conversation with the messenger, you'll find a little bit of both, right? There's a lot being said, but then listening itself is a key to how these particular characters proceed. So make sure you pick this up. Obviously, we're still continuing to share stories from the book, Words Held Together by Letters, written by myself. You can find it on Amazon. And hopefully, we can continue to have the conversation as we've started. So at any point, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and you could also click on that bell. This way you'll get notifications whenever I drop a new video. So enjoy this one. Please give me your take, your insight on what you think in terms of this particular story. So thank you again. See you on the next one.
Thank you, Gabby, and everyone else. I'll slow down a little bonus writing for you. Thank you, sir.
You got it, champ.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.